Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 8. Module 8 is the start of our poetry units. So we'll have quite a few modules where you are practicing different styles of poetry. Just like the short stories, you will turn in multiple poems. And then we'll have a revision section as well. And then we'll move on from there toward the end of the semester. So for this module, we're just getting started with poetry. So you're going to have some introductory stuff. Your readings come from the textbooks, just giving you that introductory information. Experiences, not explanations, and Introduction to Creative Writing both have sections just defining the elements of poetry, things that you want to take a look at. Writing poems is more difficult than short stories for a lot of students, just because there's a lot more to consider. When you're telling a story, a lot of times that just comes naturally because we're kind of used to viewing stories and telling stories to other people. Most people are not as familiar with how to construct a good poem. And poems have two elements to them. There's the written part, which is what it looks like on the page. And then there's also the oral part, because most poems are meant to be read out loud in some capacity. Most of our historical poetry comes from the oral tradition. And so the sound that the word makes is also something that you need to consider. So I've got some good videos here. This one with Billy Collins. He's a really great writer. I highly recommend watching this interview with him, just to give you some background and what to think about when you are sitting down to write some of these poems. It can be a big challenge, so I really encourage you to watch these videos. Once you've done the readings, then take the quiz. This is just introduction to poetry, so it's going over a lot of the basic elements and terminology, and then you're going to practice. So we're not to the point where you're turning in a whole poem for the graded rubric. We're not doing that yet. We're just practicing techniques. So these are all ones where if you do it, you're going to get credit for it. So it doesn't matter if it's a fantastic looking poem. We're just practicing the elements. So the first one is to use this website called Poetry Magnets. And this is, if you have poetry magnets at home, you're welcome to do that instead and take a picture of it. But this is like a digital version of that. And basically it just gives you letters or gives you words, and then you can rearrange them to, give you a silly looking poem. I really need more sleep, I think. So woman sleep in the garden. Sometimes you won't have words, and that's fine. It doesn't have to make any sense. But basically, you're just going through and deciding which words sound best, and then you can start over if you want to. Once you have your poem done, you can either retype it or just take a screenshot of your screen and then put that in your Word document. So what you're going to turn in is just one Word document, and you're going to have something written for each of the three prompts. So this first one is using that website. The second one, you have two options. The first one is an AI challenge, and if you want to use AI, you can do this. And basically you're asking an AI program to create a poem that mixes two or more different styles. Or if you want to, you can also write a poem and ask AI to remix it into an alternative style. So you would include yours and then the alternative. Whatever you end up doing, make sure that you copy everything. So I asked it to create a haiku using Shakespearean language. And so I would copy my prompt, I would copy the results, and I would just put that all into my Word document and label it as this came from Perplexity. Once I'm done with that, I do need to add in just a short paragraph with an analysis of the results. This is really what you're getting credit for, because it doesn't take any effort to actually ask AI to write something. The main thing was analyzing the results. So I would just kind of look at this and decide whether or not I felt like it looks Shakespearean to me. Does it make sense? Less so. You could kind of think about like what are some things that could be added or removed or something like that. It is also giving me ideas to make it more romantic, that kind of thing. So, what are things that could be changed or added? What do I think of it as a poem, that kind of thing. So the weirder you can get with this, the better, and see what happens as you could do multiple different ones if you want. And then the alternative, if you don't want to use AI, which is totally fine, you're not required to use it in this class at all, is just to do a mimicry of Carlos Williams' poem, This Is Just to Say. And so it is just a short poem that you can do a mimicry of. And so it's a kind of tongue-in-cheek apology poem. The last one that you're going to practice is line lengths. And this is, you're going to write one poem and you're going to show it in two different ways. The first version, I want you to chop it up into very short lines. So it's going to be longer, but each line is going to be short. So it'll be, you'll have like 15 lines, but each one's going to be 2 or 3 words. And then the other version of it is going to be long lines. So it's exact same wording, long lines, and then, a shorter poem. So you might have 3 lines that are, really long, with 15 words or something. And so you would have that difference in how it is viewed visually. You're not adding any words to it. It's the exact same poem. And you're going to just chop it up for one version and then keep it long for the other. The main thing is to be practicing that line length. For fun, you can just use the name of the object as a title and then just don't name it anywhere in the poem. That is often used where you'll see a lot of poems where the moral or the objective or whatever you're supposed to be thinking about is actually the title. And then there's nothing in the poem that really says that, but it is implied throughout the poem. And so without the title, you wouldn't really know what it was about. But because you have the title, then you get what it's about. So you got those 3 prompts that you'll be using for this assignment. And again, those are just for practice. It doesn't matter how it turns out. It could be the worst poem you've ever written. That's totally fine. But you're just going to be practicing. The next thing you're going to do, because we are at the midpoint of the semester, is to do a reflection. So thinking about your goals for the class. Are you meeting your goals? Is there anything that's been a big challenge for you? What do you need to do for the rest of the semester? Is there anything I can help you with? Anything like that. You can write it out as an essay, or you can write it just answering the questions in a numbered list. It's up to you. But the main thing is that making sure that you are doing it yourself, because I am only interested in your own opinions and response, not what AI tells you. And then you do have the option to do a midpoint survey for 5 points extra credit if you want. Same survey will be at the end of the semester as well. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.